My name is Bill Buxton, and I came from the hills of Arkansas. And I really came from the backwoods of Arkansas in a time that, in a place where we never had electricity, running water, anything of that sort. And teachers as well as kids can be extremely hard on people when they grow up through school, and most people know that as they've lived through that kind of life. And I worked construction, got married very early in life, and so I worked construction a lot, and I got good at it. Started my own company when I was 27 years old, grew big from there. In the meantime, I realized that I could not talk to people. I talked at people. So I began to do self-help books and study. Soon I ran on to a man named Tony Robbins. In 1995, I started going to Tony Robbins seminars. I joined up for Life Mastery, which you go through all health mastery, structure, exercise, emotional, relationship, financial, everything. And in health mastery, I went through the different foods, and they prepared different foods and different ways of eating and breathing and so on. And I started eating his way, and it wasn't long until I began to get anemic. In fact, at his classes, I would have some trouble keep going because I'd get weak, get the weak trembles and things. And so I met a man at one of his clinics, is Dr. Young, and I got acquainted with him, and he seemed to be more knowledgeable than anyone I'd talked to before, and I bought his books, and so I got acquainted with him, and then I started calling him. He lived in San Diego, California, Southern. So I went to visit with him in San Diego, and went to his clinics, I guess 3 times, to he and his wife, Shelley, and she had run the kitchen, and he was very informative about the effects of electricity on the human body and the foods and the nutritional parts and the different chemicals and things that we could use for different things as clay to pull toxins out of your body and nutritional foods that were good for you. So I began to use, so I took the knowledge of staying there for a week, 7 day, something like that, and I'd go home and I tried it and I got anemic. And I wondered, something is wrong with what I'm doing. A person almost has to hire his own personal instructor to be able to do this stuff, because your body, I don't understand all I know about what's going on. So I go back to visit with him again. Same thing. I bought more stuff, ionic water machines, and spent lots of money. I went back to visit with him again and gave up. I met with Jay Cordish and different people about juices, the juice men, the juice people. I drank their juices and ate fiber with them, and vegetables, in other words. And nothing seemed to work out. Nothing seemed to pan out. So I gradually went back to the old diet. I rodeoed quite a bit during those years, and I had some pretty bad injuries and had to go to the Mayo Clinic, but I nearly died. And they caught me before I left there when I went down and put me in a bed and kept me. Spent 6 months there repairing some parts of me that I'd broken and torn in life, and I come out of there and I got better. For 2 years I got better, and then I got to getting worse again. I got to where I couldn't move more than 4 hours a day. I just stalled out, and I just couldn't go with no energy, and more than fatigue, I was just dead to the world at nights. And I love running machinery, heavy equipment. If I ran a piece of heavy equipment for a couple hours, I'd be flat on my back for 3 days at least in the bed. And then one day I was introduced to a young lady that worked here at the Life Wellness Clinic in Lackey. And she says she could cook for me. And I thought, well, I've had people do that before, and I didn't really catch the meaning. And later she said, I think you didn't understand when I talked to you earlier. I can cook for you from the Wellness Center from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and we fix food a little different. And I said, okay, I'll be glad to pay you. I'll be excited to have you to do that. And she did, and the first day, complete day, she sat me down and told me immediately, talked to me about it, and found out I'd had a gallbladder removed, and she said, you cannot eat anything after 3 o'clock in the day. Well, that was a new one for me. I knew I'd go to 5, but usually 6 or 7. Some people drugged me on into the night, but like friends will do. But I backed up and I said, I'm going to do what the lady says. I'm in such a bad shape, I think people sometimes has to go to that level to realize the value. They don't know value of good until they felt bad. And I was bad. She offered good into the first day. I had breakfast. First time I ever ate a salad for breakfast. And then supper. I have a lighter supper, but it's got salad and different things in it. But that night I slept better. And I hate to tell her, but I was more excited. And then that next morning, at 5:30, she was by my bed with a glass of water, wanting me to drink it. Woke me up. Well, I never woke up for 9, 10 o'clock. At least that's early, even right then. And so she said, no, you need to drink this warm water, help remove the toxins, and get you liquid again, get you ready to go for the day. Well, 6 o'clock, she's back with more water and with something mixed, and then more warm water every 30 minutes. And 9 o'clock, she had my breakfast ready, and it was a big bowl of salad. And I thought, oh, good Lord, plate. I said, I couldn't eat that much, because normally I couldn't eat a small hamburger. I'd got to the point. Well, she said to eat it, and I ate it. And it filled me up, and I stayed with it until I ate it all. And it was extremely good salad because she had put some powders on it. I didn't know what it was, and later I learned as I bought them, seeds that she put in a little machine and made into powders, put them on there, and then something she calls Dr. Peter sauce powder, a powder that's made from here, I think, somewhere. And the third day, I was afraid to tell her before then because I was afraid I'd jinx myself, which I seem to have done that in life. The third day I told her, this is unreal. Something is wrong. Something has changed so dramatically in 3 days that I'm up for 10 hours wanting to go. I'm wanting to do something. All of a sudden, instead of dragging around, I'm excited about life and about doing things. And I thought, I got to see this. We got to watch this. I said, now, in another week, I should get anemic. I've got a doctor's appointment coming up, and I want to find out. But I'll know before then because I'll feel it. It didn't happen. I didn't get anemic. And she kept feeding me. Well, I was weighing between 210 and 215 at the time. Well, all of a sudden she asked me to start weighing every morning when I got out of bed before I started drinking water. And so I did. And I was a good solid 210 at the time. I started losing weight. 6 weeks time, eating her food that she had fixed, same foods that I'm eating here, not drinking anything while I eat, but drinking a lot beforehand and then drinking during the day, stopping at 3 o'clock. I had lost a strong 30 pounds of weight and had gained a 14-hour day of work to get out and go and live life. Just a world of difference in just immediately. And so there's something about this that keeps me from getting anemic. So I'm getting all the minerals I need. At the Mayo Clinic, I learned I've got Addison's disease. So I've got these special K-phos and hydrocortisone and stuff that my body will not produce. They tell me, and I've got to take. Well, I'm going to be interested. I'm slacking up on those, and I'm going to be interested to find out. Now, on the 22nd of this month, I've got a hydrochronologist, a meeting with a hydrochronologist that reports back down to the Mayo Clinic, but from Little Rock, Arkansas, and I'm going to learn, but I've got a feeling that they're going to be surprised, and I got a feeling that I'm going to be surprised because of the difference, simple difference of the foods. There's nothing that I'm doing any different than just the foods that I'm doing right now, right here in this clinic. And she kept talking about the clinic and talking about I needed a flush. I've got built up toxins in my body that she can't get out. She can lower them, but she can't get rid of them, and it will make me feel 10 times better than what she's doing. But there's so much more. And she bad wanted to get back up here anyway, and she says she needed it too, and I said, I'll pay for you if you'll take me up there. And so away we come. She insisted she pays for herself and I pay for myself, and we came, and sure enough, it's been a surprising, energizing, and I've really been amazed as Ramon's presentations are so much more in the moment, clear to understand from layman's terms. They're laid out clear and plain to understand what he's saying, and they're right on. The saying is, you'll know a lie, or you'll know the truth if it comes from the lips of a liar. Well, Ramon's telling the truth, and everything he does hits the spots. It's right on the course, it's right on money with everything I've learned in life. And so that's been the blessing of this center and this seminar.